ALANNIS, do you know that family is forever?
Yes.
Rob Zombie sure told us that, didn't he? We're back with our Halloween ranked and reviewed series with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Hello everyone and welcome back to Halloween Ranked and Reviewed. I'm your host TOMYE West. Hey, there we go. And joining me as always is my co-host, ALANNIS MAXIMUS.
How is it going?
Don't be silent, man. It's a podcast, you know.
Is that August on? So I'm like, oh yeah, this is the part where I talk.
Yeah, people are going to check their car stereos and shit. Pregnant pause. So we're here to continue our Halloween Ranked and Reviewed series with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, which was released in 2009. Please, before we get started, leave a like and a comment below. Tell us which films rank where in this series. Tell us where you would rank this against the other films. Tell us whatever you'd like. We'd like to fight with you about it, wouldn't we, Alanis?
We would.
So, before we get into what we thought about this movie, we're going to do a quick overview of the facts of this movie before we get into it. Excited about the facts, man?
I am all about the facts.
Very good. Especially when it comes to this movie. This masterpiece. Mwah! All right. Halloween 2. Released 2009. With a rating of 18+. Runtime of hour and 45 minutes. With an IMDb rating of 4.8. Whoa, 1.8 would have been terrible, huh? 4.8 is not much better, though. The synopsis goes, Laurie Strode struggles to come to terms with her brother Michael's deadly return to Haddonfield, Illinois. Meanwhile, Michael prepares for another reunion with his sister. This was directed by Rob Zombie, written by Rob Zombie, and it stars Scout Taylor Compton, Tyler Mane, Malcolm McDowell, and a few other people like Sherry Moon Zombie and stuff. This movie had a budget of $15 million estimated. On its opening weekend, it made $16.3 million. It grossed just in US and Canada $33.3 million and grossed worldwide $39.4 million, which isn't a big step up for releasing to the rest of the world.
Not at all.
No, and it's got a pretty low IMDb rating too. Anyways, now that we've gone through the overview, we can go through what we thought about this movie. What did we think about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2? And as tradition dictates, I'm going to let ALANNIS take the floor. ALANNIS, what did you think of Halloween 2?
I think it definitely wasn't as good as the first movie, but I think it kind of was better than most of the others and achieved what the others did, or the good elements, in one movie without bloat and treading water, or just trash. So I think it also helps that kind of I'm a fan of Rob Zombie's work, but it was very different. But I also think it's the only movie that, at least I know of, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct, that he's done a sequel to, and he seems to. If there's any indicator, is Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses trilogy. Each movie has a very different tone. So I think his sequels, he tries to change up the formula a little bit. And I think with this, he tried to make it a little more his own while incorporating elements from the entire franchise. In an interesting way. I think some things are unnecessary. Some things are a bit weird. Some things didn't explain themselves, like him being shot in the head and still being alive, when he's going for this really realistic element. But yeah, it wasn't terrible. I enjoyed it more than most of the other Halloweens.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Well, yeah, I've got some notes on it. The movie starts off with massive potential. And I enjoy like the first 15, 16 minutes of this movie, right up until the axe swings down into Laurie's face and she wakes up. And then I realize that the filmmakers just wasted nearly 20 minutes of my time because that was pointless. That whole scene, opening was pointless. We were always told in film school never to write dream sequences because they're almost like a get out of jail free card. They're almost like we got a hole, we got to get out of it, or we want to confuse the audience and be like, whoa, it's not really happening. And it's just the sort of go-to plot. And I feel like for a movie like this, it has way too many dream sequences. Let's just get real with that. Like there are so many. And I know it's a look into PTSD and things like that, but like, I don't know, man. It just didn't rub me the right way. Like, again, at the start, we have some gross hillbilly country boy white shit with this whole conversation about fucking corpses. Just, what are you writing this for? You know, like, I just don't believe that everyone's that sick in like, every fucking morgue driver is just like, you want a fucking dead body? And now the guy's like, no, if you go first. You know what I mean? Like, not that they said that, but, you know, kind of like that. Laurie sucks in this movie. She's annoying. She's rebellious for the wrong reasons. She takes her anger out on stupid fucking like reasons. Like, I don't think that her yelling at Sheriff Brackett and fucking Annie and all that is like really fair or anything at all. Like, I just find it over the top. I don't like her driving down the street yelling out of her car, fuck yeah, and her screaming in that fucking flashback black and white clip. Like, oh my God, man. There was just so much to this movie that just frustrated me. Like, what annoyed me was the whole fact that this movie, the cinematography was so well polished and so clean and so pretty in some parts, but then some parts of it were like, it was peppered with like first project film school feel to it too, with like the way the strip club was lit, which made it all feel like this B grade. It almost felt like a low budget and went back to almost like the feel of how Devil's Rejects felt and shit like that. And I understand that they had their own tone, but this movie changes from like cinematography, well shot, good stuff to home fucking like made shit, like the pumpkin heads, the fucking all the dream sequences, like everything is whack. Like Sherry Moon Zombie's performance in this is whack. The white horse thing is whack. The kid sucks. Does not do anything near what the actual other kid does in Halloween 2007, like at all. Like, this kid doesn't touch that performance. He's boring. He's just, yeah, I don't like how they didn't get the same kid. I don't care if he wasn't old enough. We can tell more that it's a different kid than we could if it was just a different age. You know what I mean? Malcolm McDowell sucks in this movie. Like, sucks. I don't like how he's all uppity and fucking arrogant, and then at the end he fucking like does this big sacrifice or whatever, and it's just like, oh God, man, you know. I'm not going to go on for too much more with my thoughts. I want you to I've got a lot more, man. Like, I wrote down so many. I'll give you one more before I let you go back into some of it. For me, even though this movie is set in the same Haddonfield universe as the 2007 remake, this movie feels out of place and does not feel like it's set in the same town of Haddonfield. It feels like a completely different town, and I think I found out the reason for that. The reason, I think, is because I believe they shot it in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, and they shot it in Pasadena for the first one, and I think that's why maybe nothing feels and looks the same as the original movie. And I know that people are going to be like, oh, it doesn't, that's not, you know, it's the town, so like that's the setting, and it's like, yeah, but it doesn't feel like that same neighborhood at all or anything, you know what I mean? I don't know. I kind of rambled, but I got a lot to say. I got to keep going. So you take over for a bit, ALANNIS.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the new spin on Loomis. I like the kind of fall from grace, trying to profiteer on a serial killer kind of thing. It was different, but I think I kind of preferred it than the constant fanatical Donald Pleasance going, "Oh, Michael Myers." Um, I think his acting was intentionally a bit tacky, and I think it always has been with that character because Donald Pleasance was kind of tacky. I think that's the vibe they kind of went for.
Like, can I just give you an example of like terrible acting on Malcolm McDowell's part, terrible filmmaking and directing, terrible acting on that kid's part? When the camera it's black and white, the kid's in the hospital, it's zooming up on his face, and Malcolm McDowell is behind the camera, and he's like, you can look into his eyes and you can see that he is gone. And then he's like, your mother is dead. And the kid's like, she'll be back. No, your mother is dead. She will not be back. She always comes back. And it's just like, oh my God. I fucking hated it, bro. Like, I was like, oh, this feels cheap. And the bit when she's like, again, black and white, dream sequence, man, it's just like everything feels out of place. And even Michael Myers, homeless Michael Myers, feels out of place, man. Like, I really wish they would have just found a reason quicker for him to get his mask than how long it really took. You know what I mean? Like, again, I would have loved if they just continued on from the same plot they were started off with, where Michael was going through the hospital. Like, that was nearly 20 minutes of the movie. Like, you could have padded that out and made more. Like, I know that Rob Zombie said he didn't want to just do Halloween 2 over again because he pretty much did Halloween 1 over again. But I would have preferred that than this. And also, I feel like the first movie from Rob Zombie is fucking really good. And I would have loved to see more of that sort of level of movie making on this sequel. And I don't feel like it was done justice whatsoever. So, continue.
Yeah. I feel at the same time as well, there might have been an aspect of like, I don't think it was a big secret that he wasn't too crash hot on doing this movie.
Well, he said that he wasn't going to do it. And then he heard rumors that the Weinstein Company Dimension Films were looking for someone to continue this storyline from Halloween 1 that wasn't Rob Zombie, because Rob Zombie didn't want to do it. And Rob Zombie said, well, if someone else is going to make the movie, I'm going to make this movie. Like, if they're going to insist on it, I'm making this movie then. And kind of did it. And he regrets doing it because apparently the whole production was a mess. Like, they went to Georgia and it snowed constantly while they were there, so they had to keep cleaning up the snow. The crew was stealing money out of the budget. There was constant studio interference. This movie just was set up for failure from the get-go. I was reading reviews on IMDb. While there are a few positive things like, oh, a true look at PTSD or whatever, there are lots more that are like, this is the worst Halloween movie. This makes Halloween Resurrection look like a masterpiece. Like, dude, people were like, it was just unnecessary, this whole movie. And I kind of agree that I feel like this movie is kind of just unnecessary. I would have preferred that Rob Zombie just left the first one and walked away. But I got a few more things. Can you keep going? Maybe tell me some things that you didn't like in this.
Some things I didn't like. I feel some of the shots were too drawn out. Like in the very start, where the coroner body collector guys first crash, and the dude's sitting there all messed up, and he's just like, for like 5 minutes. Or it felt like 5 minutes.
Fucking
like,
shit. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, dude, I feel the same as you with that. Like, I was like, this is going on for so long, and this actor's just like, fuck, fuck. Oh my God, like.
There was another point in it as well. I can't remember exactly where, but there was a really drawn out scene. Like someone said something, and then it was just like a long silence, kind of focusing on their face, and then it cuts away, and it's like, why? is this just someone missed the cut and forgot to do it, and then the movie was out? Some little things like that I didn't like. I think it the end was an interesting choice with the whole inherent kind of evil thing, but I don't think it was put through that well. It just kind of felt like an excuse to give Sherry Moon Zombie some screen time. I think they could have done everything they did without the whole Laurie could see her mom and was being held by little Michael Myers. I think that was a bit far-fetched for what they were trying to achieve. They could have done it in other ways that weren't as there, and I think those parts as well are a little bit overplayed. It's like, we get it. You don't need your wife on screen as much as this. And I feel it was almost...
You are right that she was so unnecessary for this movie. They did not need to include any of that. Apparently the reason Rob Zombie included the white horse is because they were literally driving past a field of horses or something, and he was like, oh, like he saw a white horse, and he was like, I'm just going to put that in the movie. Like there was... Yeah, man. I don't know if he was like on a lot more meth than the first movie or something. But yeah, keep going.
I think that was like, I think she had a place there. I liked how it was there for Michael. I even liked that Laurie could have maybe seen her in dream sequences and things to show that they have the same kind of sickness, I guess. But it was way overplayed, and I feel that it was just so much screen time because it was his wife, and he wanted his wife on screen. Like, I don't know why she had to be there so much, and it kind of polluted the message, I think, a little bit in the end.
Yeah,
it made it confusing.
I didn't like that connection with Laurie. I didn't like Michael Myers' connection with Laurie, and he's like eating, and she's like nearly vomiting and stuff, and I was like, please, why do we have... I don't want Michael Myers to be supernatural whatsoever. I don't want any spirit link. I don't want any fucking connection. I don't want people to be able to read his thoughts. I don't want, like, when Halloween 5 where they're like, Jamie, tell me, or whatever. Tell me, Jamie, where is he? Tell me. And I'm just like, like, I want my slashers to be slashers. And when they're supernatural, I think it takes away the scary element completely from these movies. Like, it removes the scariness, because the scariness factor factor to these movies is, it's a dude, just a simple... Anybody could do it. Has a mask on. Is stabbing you. Like, there's nothing more scary than real life. You know what I mean? And when they start involving things like telepathic connections and stuff like that, I can't deal with it, man. And I feel like they did that with Halloween too. You know?
Yeah, it's I didn't actually even pick up on that's why she was vomiting. But yeah. I don't think that's really necessary. I like that they were sick in the same ways, and she was seeing her mother. But I also think it was used way too much.
Yeah. Well, I didn't also... I know we praised him for it in the last movie, which is that even in like the parts that were like not the 70s, he kind of gave it a 70s flair. But man, like in the Rabbit in Red this time, with like the way those dudes were dressed and shit, I was like, dude, this isn't actually the 70s. You know what I mean? Like that dude has big sideburns, fucking disco hair, wearing a fucking like shirt you wear it to a Miami, Florida club in the early 80s doing some blow. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. And the other dude was dressed just as like lame, you know, and then... Oh, dude, I don't know. That it was weird. It was a mixture of like modern and 70s, and like he just did it cleaner in the other movie. You know what I mean? Where it didn't like stand out or look stupid or feel dated. It felt like it fit. And yeah. I don't know. Also, the part that made me laugh out loud was when Michael killed everyone in the strip club and then turned the light from open to closed on the building. I was like, what? Why would Michael Myers ever do that? Like, kill everyone in a strip club, and it's got a light up sign that says open, and suddenly it flicks to closed, and you're like, can you imagine him inside? Going home for the night, you know what I mean?
My work here is done.
Yeah, man, there was just some weird decisions. I did not like Michael Myers talking.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that either. That was
It
a
was
bit
terrible, man.
weird.
What does he say again? One word, isn't it? Isn't it Laurie or something?
Yeah.
Caveman. Ooh, hot fire, hot. You know. I do like one scene in this, which is where he walks to that kid in the town, and the kid walks and bumps into him. Are you a giant? I love that bit. What did you think about when those people approach him in the farm field and they're like, I told you not to get on my land. You get off my land now. You fucking get off my land. Are you listening, boy? This guy's simple. He's not listening. And then he just fucks everyone up, bro. Like, there are moments like that that look awesome. I hate that bit when he's like, when the mortician, like the people with the body bag or whatever in the car, the van are like talking, and then he's like, cow. What? Cow! Like, yeah, I don't know, man.
It was convenient that they weren't paying attention to the road.
Yeah. Don't talk to each other while driving dead bodies around is the lesson, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still shocked, man, that when you messaged me that you actually enjoyed this movie. Like, I can forgive you for things like Batman and Robin. I can forgive you for, let's see, what else have we done? Prey. Even though I don't really think it's fantastic, I didn't think it was as bad as you. I can forgive you for every bad decision you've ever done on this show, nearly. But I can't forgive you for Halloween 2. Now, while this may not be the worst entry in the franchise, in my opinion, it is still a shit show. And as much as people had a problem with Halloween Kills, when we get to it, I haven't watched it for a long time now, since it pretty much got released. I just don't see Halloween Kills being on this sort of level of poorly written and executed. Anything else you want to say about this frustratingly annoying movie?
No, I think that's about it. I think I've covered all I really need to.
Hungry, fire, glory,
Bane!
Oh, no. Man, I just blacked out for a minute. I just saw like a flash of white, and I was like in a different body because you made me so furious. I'm joking. Anyway, let's get into some trivia of this movie. You excited for the trivia, man?
Oh, very. Not really. But I'm sure it'll be curious.
Another thing about this movie I'm going to quickly say before we get into the trivia was it was too fucking long.
I bet you one of the bits of trivia will be, it was the first installment when Michael Myers spoke.
It was the first installment where Michael Myers walked around with that mask on. Oh my God, man. The second fucking quote. First Halloween movie to include Michael clearly walking around without his mask on. I just said it, man. I just told the future. All right. Rob Zombie originally stated he would never do a sequel to Halloween 2007 until the studio decided to make it. Then he signed on to write and direct because he didn't want someone else to ruin his vision. Rob, your vision was not the strongest, you know what I'm saying? First Rob Zombie movie not to feature zombie regulars Sid Haig, Bill Moseley, and Tom Towles.
Hey, yeah, that's a good point.
While writing Sam Loomis for the sequel, Rob Zombie based his egotistical and self-absorbed personality on Dr. Phil and his talk show.
I can kind of see that.
Well, now you gotta communicate. You gotta communicate, Becky. All right. Caroline Williams cameos in the film as Dr. Maple, one of the surgeons mending Laurie's injuries in the operating room. She played Stretch in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 in 1986. Rob Zombie is a fan of the franchise and asked her to appear in this film. The decision to give Laurie the name Angel as her real name was meant to emphasize her as an extreme opposite to Michael. Laurie Strode's birth name in the original films was Cynthia Myers. Terrible changing her name to Angel. Ugh. Rob Zombie was not comfortable shooting the first Halloween 2007 in a 2.391 aspect ratio, as he was used to the flat 1.851 frame that had accompanied his previous films. For this film, he chose to shoot the whole picture on 16mm rather than traditional 35mm and return to his preferred 1.851 aspect ratio.
Yay.
Yeah, boring. Boring. Weird Al Yankovic's only condition to appear in this film was that he got to pick his own clothes. How much you want to be paid for your cameo, Weird Al Yankovic? I don't want any money. Just let me wear the shirt I want to wear. Oh, here you go. This is a really cool fact about this movie. This is another interesting fact about how badly the development was on this movie, how much of a hellhole this was. Yeah, ready? When Rob Zombie had to have a few days worth of footage shipped off for developing at the start of production, the film canisters were accidentally x-rayed by airport security, ruining the film reels and forcing several days worth of reshoots. Can you imagine filming a week or whatever worth of Halloween 2 and then sending it off to be like looked at by the producers and started getting edited together or whatever, or getting thrown in, in the same project, and then it gets x-rayed? And man, I would find the TSA person that was responsible for that, and I would tie them to the jet so that their body hung into the propellers when it took off. Like, I would be so mad. I probably would have quit. I would have been like, I am not filming that again. You know what I mean? Like, whew, it gets my blood boiling, and I wasn't even the filmmaker, The characterization of Dr. Loomis as a greedy, unlikable, egotistic was Malcolm McDowell's idea as well. He told Rob Zombie he didn't want to give the same performance from the first film. I want to be an asshole, Rob. I don't want to care. I want to be an asshole. Anyways, you can tell by looking into his eyes that he is gone. Oh, dude. So we're going to get into our goofs section. And I've decided that this is just going to be our intro to goofs. You ready?
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Good. All right, let's go into some goofs. This one better be okay. We've read some shockers lately. At around 42 minutes during Loomis's interview in front of the dilapidated Myers house, it is obviously not the same house used in the previous film. In the opening hospital chase, the bandage on Laurie's head alternates between blood-soaked and clean between shots. During the book signing, Linda's father tells Dr. Loomis that Michael butchered her, but in actuality, he strangled her. The Rob Zombie iterations of Halloween clearly remove any supernatural aspect from the character of Michael Myers. This results in a plot inconsistency from the first film. It is never explained how Michael was able to survive a gunshot wound to the face at point-blank range without immediate medical attention. At around 6 minutes, it is vaguely mentioned that Michael's body was misplaced by the police from transport from the crime scene to the morgue. This appeared to happen in the outskirts of Haddonfield. So why did it take a year for Michael to return to the town to find Laurie? Can you imagine he's just walking 6 months? Laurie! Laurie! My dog's gonna bark. This is the last goof, actually. In this film, both Laurie and Michael start seeing visions of their dead mother and a younger Michael. Laurie could not possibly envision Deborah or a younger Michael because she never met either of them at any point in their lives. It seems odd that Michael is experiencing these same visions, and what? Also, it seems odd that Michael is experiencing these visions now and never had them in the first film. That is pretty funny, man, that she'd never met them and she's having visions. Like, that's what I mean, man. Like, whatever. Whatever. It's a fucking Halloween movie, isn't it? It's not fucking Schindler's List. Let's get over it. So how are you feeling about this movie, Alanis? Are you happy to be done with this and are you happy to be moving on to Halloween 2018? Or do you prefer Halloween 2 Part 2?
I actually can't remember Halloween 2. You know what? I don't think I've seen it.
What?
Yeah.
Dios mío!
I've definitely seen Halloween Kills, but I don't think I saw Halloween 2018.
What?
Yeah.
Dude. All right, guys, this has been ranked and reviewed. You've never seen it.
Episode.
How can you have not seen it?
It's a good question. A question I don't have the answer for.
You make me so mad.
I think I saw a vein pop.
I feel like Michael Myers has just come in and been like, Laurie, and stabbed me. You know what I mean? Oh, with that, if Alanis hasn't seen Halloween 2018, I can't wait for next week's review because he's probably going to come back from Halloween 2018 and be like, I didn't like it. I'll tell you why. And you're going to shit on it. And everyone's going to be like, but that was the one that everyone liked a lot. Nah, it's all right. I think the next two reviews, which is the last two of this series, is going to be controversial to some people because I wonder what people are going to think where I rank Halloween 2018 compared to Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
Huh. So with that, let's get on to our ranking. Each and every week we rank one movie in a franchise. And we rank all of them next to each other. So we rank, for instance, we did Batman. So we did Batman 1989, Batman Returns, Batman Forever. Each week we do one installment. And at the end of the franchise, we look at where we ranked all these movies in the franchise and we laugh at Alanis's choices. We cry at TOMYE's choices. We just have a good time. So I promise not to cry too much, Alanis, with your ranking. So we fucked up last week with the ranking, which was that I just went to check it before, and I don't know why, but there was a entry not on Alanis's, which was the original Halloween. So we can't do up last time's ranking again. I'm very sorry. We will try and fix this problem from happening anymore. Where were we, Alanis?
We were.
So with that, let's bring up the current ranking. The new one. This week's fresh ranking. So, the ranking goes like this. Mine is number 1, Halloween 2007. Number 2, Halloween H2O. Number 3, Halloween 2. Number 4, Halloween 4. Number 5, Halloween. Number 6, Halloween 2, 2009. Number 7, Halloween 5. Number 8, Halloween Resurrection. Number 9, Halloween 6. And number 10, Halloween 3. What do you think about that ranking before we discuss yours, Alanis?
That is decent and also questionable ranking.
What do you have questions about?
H2O. I just didn't enjoy it. Laurie!
Josh Hartnett would be mad at you. So let's read Alanis's review ranking so far. Number 1, Halloween 2007. Number 2, Halloween H2O. Number 3, Oh, sorry, I read mine. Halloween. Sorry. Number 1, Halloween 2007. Number 2, Halloween 2, 2009. Number 3, Halloween 4. Number 4, Halloween 2. Number 5, Halloween 5. Number 6, Halloween. Number 7, Halloween 6. Number 8, Halloween H2O. Number 9, Halloween 3. And number 10, Halloween Resurrection. I thought you really liked Halloween Resurrection, man.
Yeah, oh, favorite movie.
So that has been Halloween ranked and reviewed for this week. As we said before, coming up for the next Halloween ranked and reviewed episode, we are doing Halloween 2018, a movie that ALANNIS has apparently never seen. Also, ALANNIS, before we end the episode, I thought I'd fill you in. I don't know why, but the edit I was doing for our Alien vs. Predator movie didn't save.
Oh, no.
So, TOMYE is going to have to do it all again. And TOMYE is extremely angry!
Adobe!
Premiere! Oh man, I'm just going to walk around for a year with a beard looking for Adobe. Lord! Right. Everyone, thank you for joining us for Halloween Ranked and Reviewed this week. Remember Halloween 2018 next week, and the week after that, Halloween Kills as well as Halloween Ends. We're at the finish line. And before we leave, how are you feeling about Halloween Ends, ALANNIS?
I am scared.
Me too. I'm more scared of how that movie's going to go than I am going to see it.
Yeah.
Michael Myers was scary. Movie outcome scary. I'm your host, TOMYE West. And as always, joining me has been my sometimes wrong but very handsome co-host, ALANNIS Maximus.
Ah.
Gluteus Maximus. Everyone, please, if you have stuck around this long and you like our content, please leave a like and a comment. Remember, you can tell us where you'd rank the movies next to each other, where you'd rank this movie in the franchise, or you could just tell ALANNIS how plain wrong he always is. Whatever suits you guys, you know. So, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Peace. Lauren!